My name is Mike, welcome back to the channel. I've had this kit from Tactical for a few years now, and I originally wasn't going to make a video on it because I don't like to make videos on stuff that doesn't make sense to me, and I certainly don't like to shit on products. If you send me something and I like it, or if I think it's okay or usable by some people, I will do the video on it, but if it's dog shit, I won't. This one I went back and forth on. It was definitely an awesome range toy, but was it good enough to be a home self-defense? First, before I get too far, let's talk about what is it. Take your M&p 2.0 with your 4 1/4 inch barrel, and then using no tools, you install a 16-inch barrel into, which makes it a rifle. And the best joke I've heard about this one on the internet has to go to Honest Outlaw. This is the guy your girl told you not to worry about. Stick it in right in the rear, smack it in the ass, and push in your trigger bar. Then you can take that weapon light you may already have on your pistol and install it on this platform here. As I mentioned before, you have that 16-inch barrel, makes it a rifle, so ATF can go fuck themselves. And it comes with this thread protector. The first thing I would do is remove that and never use it. I had metal shavings come back and cut my hand and cause severe bleeding, so it's really just a thread protector. It's not gonna do anything else for you other than put you at higher risk depending on how you grab your weapon. I have a threaded barrel on my carry gun, so I usually just swap that guy over. And now I feel more comfortable running my hand up front without anything coming back at it. It does have a full-length Picatinny rail up top. Feels like aluminum. Don't know the quality of it. Not sure what the plastic and polymer is made out of. I would rate this at extremely high quality airsoft or better. This is just some nonsense I put on the bottom here. I've had 3 or 4 different handles all over this thing. The O-sight optic just for funsies. We'll talk more about that later. Trigger mechanism. Whatever kind of trigger you have in your gun, it's going to be about 80% of that. So I've got some slack and a clean break. This gun does have the Apex trigger in it, and that is one of the nicest triggers I've ever felt in a striker fired pistol. And yeah, you can shoot this gun like this. And how that trigger works is you have made out of plastic, there's a flat bar that goes back and connects it to your original trigger through this pin here. Trigger bar or pin, you can just pull on that and it'll come right out. They do send it with 2 of them, which is good because you're probably going to lose one. This is what it looks like, and that is set up for your stock trigger. If you don't have a stock trigger, this one here is what it looks like, not stock. So magazine installs just as you would imagine it would, and then you push that there to release it. So that's that. When this thing closes down onto your weapon, it kind of locks it in with a small plastic piece that kind of pinches it in there. On this particular firearm, we have a small, medium, and large backstrap, and they have a corresponding bumper piece that you would install on the back of that hinged unit in order to tighten that housing up to your gun. And I actually threw a couple of slices of electrical tape on mine to tighten it up even more, so tuning it, I guess. What's this nonsense going on in the back? Well, this was my first hesitation on even doing a review on this particular item. Tactical did send this to me for free a few years ago. And so we have this stock on the back that is adjustable, which is cool. And that's made possible by having a 16-inch barrel, obvi. And all this nonsense on here is normally not on here. So when I backed this up, this buttstock flexed quite a bit. So I was pretty bummed about that. So I reached out to the company via email, and they said, oh, that's weird. Never seen that before. I'm like, okay. They said, just try to tighten it down. So I tightened it down, took it apart, and I just couldn't make it work. I don't know if it's this copy or what, but it had a bad taste in my mouth. At least that was my interaction. So I put the gun away for a good 1.5 to 2 years, and then I pulled it back out when I was going through the process to figure out what a optimum weapon system would be for one of my daughters as they moved out of the house. So I threw this contraption into the mix. But I digress. Push it all the way in without this spacer in there. This bracketing hardware will get in the way of the release. Not a big deal for me, just a note. By adding this spacer in here, I'm able to collapse the stock all the way down to a shoulder to trigger distance that's comfortable for me. And for the most part, it gets rid of that play in the buttstock. So I was able to make it work. So that's what that looks like in a nutshell. Convert your pistol into a rifle, And then you could do rifle things, and you can have this mailed to your house without any sort of background check or anything like that, because it's obviously not a gun. Always nice to see the M&P 2.0 being supported by aftermarket stuff. All right, let's head out to the range. Now that barrel does flop up and down in the front of that gun. For whatever reason, that's how most modern pistols work. It's reciprocating the barrels going up and down. It helps change the angle of the feed round to load the next round. See if this thing is combat effective at 10 yards. The barrel settles back down in place. I'm not able to shoot faster than the barrel. And so the accuracy still seems oddly pretty good, at least at that 7 yards for sure, and easily out to 25 yards, which again, I was surprised, because essentially your aiming system is on top, and with this gun inside, there's going to be some tolerances for it to move around, and that barrel itself is not perfectly locked in. So between the barrel being laid out, the chassis having to marry up to the gun itself, there's going to be some stacking tolerances that lower its accuracy levels. The height over bore is actually pretty close at this range. I'd have to set up something further to see if this thing's zeroed in or not. Now I did run this Meta Tactical Apex gun next to this Springfield Kuna. Thought it'd be a great comparison, and it held up just fine side by side with that particular firearm. So I'm reluctant to say it, but the gun is performing just fine. And moving on to the safety, it's a push button design here. So push your pointer finger in so it's hot, and then press it back on the other side, and it is on safe. The gun comes with a lot of accessory options. There's a ton of them out there. I would say the coolest one would probably be to get the angled forward hand stop or forward grip that holds an additional magazine up front. That would be pretty cool. And I did talk about the charging handle. It is ambi. It's just permanent. If I didn't mention this before, it does come with that barrel. So when you order the kit, it's going to come with the chassis as well as that 16-inch barrel. Quick channel update. As many of you know, I travel all over the country for my main job, and I meet a lot of amazing people. And in that process, I made some great connections with Rare Breed Triggers. So I'm actively working on a series of videos on that. So be sure to subscribe and come back for that. And I'm happy to report HB Industries has been sending me parts and pieces for the Springfield Kuna. And just a reminder, it is really hard to stay monetized doing this stuff. This video, I've literally uploaded 8 different versions trying to get it through the pipeline, and I just can't seem to do it. It's hard out there for the PewTubers, so throw us a bone whenever you get a chance. For those of you that keep coming back to the channel, thanks for being here, and back to the video. My wish list, if they came out with a version 2.0 on this one, forgive my speech, I'm having some grill work done. If the safety could be made like an AR-15, where it rotates up and down, that would be pretty cool to see in a future iteration. Obviously a stock redesign to create a little bit more strength and stability on that. Grip storage, this is just a hollow grip. If you could give me grip storage, that would be amazing. I've become way too used to that on my other firearms, and it's hard to go without it. And you know what else would be sick? Like maybe a pro version, which this would be probably financially prohibited, but it would be really cool if they made one of these out of aluminum. My closing thoughts on this guy is you do get into that bullpup design, which is kind of fun if you're bullpup curious, like when you're in college, and where the weight is distributed to the back, and you have a lot of barrel length with the weapon system being so close to you. You can actually manipulate the weapon one hand pretty easy. So that's more of a cool thing about bullpups in general. I think the price is somewhere between... The biggest thing that I've noticed is people's reactions. I'll have this out along with about 5 or 6 other weapons that are way nicer than this and way cooler in my opinion. New shooters as well as experienced shooters. So it will turn heads at the range, and people laugh and smile a lot when they shoot it. So by now I think you have a pretty good idea of what this thing is and what it is not. And here's my list of important things. Is it reliable? Absolutely. 0 malfunctions. Is it affordable? Meh. Is it practical? Is it the right tool for the right job? So range toy, yeah. Not the best home defense weapon because it's overly complicated for what it is. I think there might be better options out there for you. Is it accurate? Kinda. It's not like a sub MOA at 100 yards, I'm guessing, but you know, it's accurate enough. Will you train with it or not? So meaning, will you put a lot of rounds through this and get good at it? What's the true cost of it? You're already gonna have a gun. You're gonna need to put an optic on it, maybe a light if you want to use it at night. Make sure and add all those things into the equation. And is it tactical? It is very tactical. And speaking of tactical, be sure and swing by Coats of Anarchy. Check out their website. If you have any machine parts, auto body parts, or super cool firearms you want to make even cooler, fill out that form. Make sure you mention that the Gun Channel sent you for an awesome discount. Coats of Anarchy does a lot of really high quality work. They do special edition runs for Q, for example, that kind of gives you insight of the high quality of work that they do. And to support the channel, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And visit evokestudio.io for all your photography and videography needs. I will leave some sample footage at the end of this video to get an idea of the quality of work we can do. And last but not least, everybody at Palm Bay this last weekend did a fantastic job at the PATRIOT Games. It was a team event and great turnout, extremely beautiful weather for this time of year in September, an A+ event. My name is Mike. Welcome to the channel. We'll see you soon.